Hello friends, welcome to USA Top News. Let's get the latest news from all 50 states of America, including US politics, the White House, and all the important and breaking news in just a few minutes. Before that, please tell us in the comments which state or city in America you are watching this video from. And if you like the news, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. The release of documents related to Jeffrey Epstein has caused a stir worldwide. These files contain information about financial transactions and private meetings, leading to the resignations of several high-ranking officials. In Britain, the Prime Minister's Chief of Staff, Morgan McSweeney, and in Norway, senior diplomat Mona Juul had to step down due to their connections to Epstein. The investigation has spread to 80 countries. Donald Trump, on Truth Social, called the U.S. elections rigged and warned that the country would face an existential crisis if the voting system was not reformed. He demanded key reforms under the Save America Act, such as voter ID, proof of citizenship, and limited mail-in voting. Otherwise, an existential crisis would ensue. Jeffrey Epstein, who was involved in trafficking and sexually abusing underage girls, was using his money and influence to create a special human race using his own DNA. In the early 2000s, Epstein wanted to use his 33,000-square-foot Zorro Ranch near Santa Fe, New Mexico, as a base where women would give birth to his children. The U.S. has invited India to join the Pax Silica initiative, announced by U.S. Deputy Secretary of State Jacob Hellberg. Hellberg will soon visit India to sign an agreement with the Indian government. He praised India's young, technically trained talent, saying it could rival China. The initiative focuses on creating a secure silicon supply chain. The U.S. has invited India to join the Pax Silica initiative. U.S. Deputy Secretary of State Jacob Hellberg said that an agreement would soon be signed with the Indian government. Hellberg also emphasized the positive momentum in India-U.S. relations. Regarding the vastness of human talent, the U.S. Deputy Secretary of State said that India could rival China in terms of the quantity of technically trained talent. 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie has been kidnapped in Arizona. USA TV anchor Savannah Guthrie has appealed to the kidnappers to return her mother and offered to pay a ransom. Nancy Guthrie's daughter, Savannah Guthrie, a TV anchor, posted a video on social media on Saturday, sending a clear message to the kidnappers. She is very precious to us, and we will pay whatever amount of money is required for her return. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has warned the U.S. that Iran will not tolerate the language of force and that Trump should respect this. This statement comes amid rising tensions and ahead of the second round of nuclear talks in Oman. Iran remains firm on its right to enrich uranium, while the U.S. is increasing its military presence in the Gulf. Iran has stated that it will not abandon enrichment despite threats of war. The U.S. agreement on the framework of an interim trade deal, reached under pressure after the EU agreement, marks a significant turning point in its relations with New Delhi. Despite opposition claims and implementation challenges, it reflects a confident India and its growing stature in the global perspective. The U.S. Interim Trade Agreement, a new beginning for strategic partnership, a step towards a self-reliant India. U.S. President Trump has called for drastic reforms, calling the electoral system rigged and stolen. He called for mandatory voter ID and citizenship proof, and for a ban on mail-in ballots. Let's explore why Trump made this statement. The issue of vote theft is currently circulating in many countries. Meanwhile, U.S. President Trump has also made a significant statement regarding his country's electoral system. He has stated that the U.S. elections are being rigged. The final outline of the long-delayed trade agreement with the U.S. has been agreed upon. Both countries issued a joint statement regarding this. Meanwhile, the U.S. Trade Representative's Office has released a map of India, which is sure to shock neighboring Pakistan. A clear message was also given on Kashmir, showing the entire POK on the Indian map. The U.S. shocked Pakistan after the trade deal. A video of U.S. President Donald Trump shared on social media has caused an uproar. However, it has been deleted after protests. But Trump has flatly refused to apologize for the controversial video. U.S. President Donald Trump often shares posts or videos on his social media accounts that spark controversy. Now, a video of Trump has been shared in which former President Barack Obama. Nuclear talks between the U.S. and Iran and Oman failed to yield any results. Consequently, U.S. and Iranian leaders will meet again next week. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump pressured Iran on the nuclear program agreement, and after failing to reach a deal, the first round of talks on the US-Iran nuclear deal in Muscat, the capital of Oman, ended without any results, although both countries. A court in the U.S. state of Colorado has sentenced the owner of a funeral home to 40 years in prison for leaving nearly 200 bodies to rot and providing fake remains to relatives. The accused's inhumane treatment of bodies over 4 years has crossed all limits in America. A funeral home owner has been sentenced to 40 years in prison. In a heartbreaking case in Colorado, the court has sentenced a funeral home owner to 40 years in prison. The U.S. State Department has urged its citizens to reconsider travel to Pakistan. The department cited security, crime, unrest, terrorism, and kidnapping threats as the primary reasons for this. According to an updated travel advisory issued on January 26th, Pakistan has been placed in the Level 3 Reconsider Travel category, indicating a risk to travelers. The U.S. has issued a warning to its citizens about travel to Pakistan. The disclosure of documents related to Jeffrey Epstein has caused a stir worldwide. These files contain information about financial transactions and personal meetings, leading to the resignation of several high-ranking officials. In Britain, the Prime Minister's Chief of Staff, Morgan McSweeney, and in Norway, senior diplomat Mona Juul have resigned due to their connections to Epstein. The investigation has expanded to 80 countries. Mona, 66, has previously served as a minister in the Norwegian government, as well as Israel. President Donald Trump signed a spending bill, ending a 4-day partial government shutdown. The shutdown was caused by opposition to funding for the Immigration Enforcement Agency. The bill passed 217 to 214 in the House. Trump called it a major victory for the American people. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem announced that federal agents in Minneapolis will now wear body cameras. The legislation reached Trump's desk at the White House earlier in the day during the Republican-controlled session. Former U.S. Marine officer Grant Newsham has warned India to be wary of China. He believes that despite the world's attention on Taiwan, China could attack India. Newsham, citing a Pentagon report, said that China is pursuing a strategy to become a global superpower by 2049. He also mentioned the Galwan incident, which reveals PLA preparations. The U.S. has alerted India. Global financial markets are experiencing significant volatility, putting pressure on everything from Wall Street to crypto. Uncertainty surrounding the U.S. Federal Reserve's monetary policy and interest rates has impacted risk assets. Bitcoin fell below $70,000 and Ethereum below $2,100. Experts believe this decline is due to fears of tightening Fed policies. Investors have been advised to monitor global cues and manage risk in crypto. President Donald Trump signed a spending bill, ending a 4-day partial government shutdown. This shutdown was caused by opposition to funding for the Immigration Enforcement Agency. The bill passed 217 to 214 in the House. Trump called it a major victory for the American people. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem announced that federal agents in Minneapolis will now wear body cameras. The U.S. government shutdown has ended.